Welcome to Kevin Deal Photography, where I take you on my journey through photography. On today's episode, we're going to be doing an in-depth review of the Freewell CPL Gmist combo filter system. I'm pleased to announce the release of my Capture One and Lightroom presets, Metamorphic Portraits, The Sound of Silver, and Rangefinder. These are all available for purchase at my website. Go to kevindealphotography.com or check out a link in the description below. And now, on to today's episode. Welcome to today's episode. If you're not familiar with Kevin Deal Photography, we do gear reviews, tips, techniques, and tutorials, and sometimes we dive into film. If any of that sounds appealing to you, click the subscribe button below. So if you are part of the X100 culture, or you're just looking into getting an X100 series camera, you've probably figured out that this culture is full of people who love to trick out and customize their X100 series cameras. I myself made that attempt when I bought a circular hood. I bought a Pro Mist filter for it, and I found some things that I liked about it and didn't like about it. Ultimately, I stopped using the lens hood because I didn't like the way that it indented in with the lens cap. It was just kind of not fun. I fumbled around with it a lot, and then I ended up actually losing the Tiffin filter for it. So I've kind of hit the reset button on tricking out my camera, and no, I didn't put the hipster red shutter release button on there like a lot of you have. But I was thinking, should I even continue, or should I just use the camera as it's intended, which is simply to just shoot with it like this? And that was around the time that Freewell reached out to me about reviewing what I'm going to review in today's episode. And Freewell, I've actually used them in the past. I'm actually using one of their filters right now on my R5 Mark II from Canon. I use their variable ND filters, and I've had some really great results with them, so I took them up on their offer. And so now I have right here the Gmist / CPL combo, and it comes with a lens hood. And you can see right here that you can control your CPL. There's this really cool slot cut out where you can just variably control your CPL. So it's a combo though, and that's what makes it unique, because it's going to give you a cinematic look. So we're going to take a look at this in today's episode. We'll test it out and see if we like it. But first, let's talk about the very brief specs of this system. The Freewell FW-FU is a circular polarizing / Gmist combo filter system made for the Fuji X100 series cameras. It consists of 4 parts: the adjustable polarization component, the CPL / quarter Gmist hybrid filter, the lens hood, and the lens cap. It comes in both black and silver finishes and is compatible with all X100 series cameras. The hybrid filter comes in at a size of 49 millimeters, and it comes in at a street price of just under $70 US. There's not really a lot of specs there. Just a really quick overview of it is that there's kind of 4 main parts to it. So by the way, when it came shipped, everything was already attached, but if you find yourself having this be detached, you've got your mount, you've got your CPL / Gmist filter right here, you've got the lens hood for it, and then you also get the Freewell lens cap, which goes on, and it has that felt pool table type material that you have on your standard X100 cap that comes with your camera when you buy it. So you put all that on, you take this guy off, you straighten out that lens hood, and then you just use this variably, and you can control the CPL. Now, in today's episode, I will do some A/B shots where I take some shots with this not on, and then I'll take shots with it on, and you can see if you like the effect, that Gmist effect, or not. The sun is peeking through the clouds, so I'll try to keep these A/B comparisons as apples to apples as I can, but I am at the mercy of the sun, and there's not much I can do about it. But Without further ado, let's go shoot around town. We're here in downtown Austin. We have reflectivity on the lake. We have reflectivity on the skyscrapers, so that'll definitely give us some opportunities to test out the CPL portion of the CPL Gmist combination. Let's get started on today's review. Now for all my tests today, I'm rolling handheld, so you're not going to get super stable video here, but as you can see the side of this building, as I am rolling that CPL, you can see the reflectivity is changing. Now with the CPL, you want to be 90 degrees off axis with the sun. As you can see on these cylinders right here, no, you're not tripping on acid. I'm just using that CPL to the fullest effect, and you're seeing more impactful changes. Now you take something like Acros R, which gives you dark skies already, but when you use it here, look at how much more impactful it is. Look at how much more drama it creates when I use the CPL on these skies with Acros R. Now here's the same test in Provia Standard, so you can see how the CPL and the mist affect the overall performance. A quick word of warning, when you use a CPL, it does get darker, so you may lose up to a stop or two of light, so you do need to compensate at the camera. Now let's do the water test. As you can see right here, as I use the CPL, you can see a little bit more under the water. It's penetrating a bit more. You're seeing less glare. So the CPL portion of this for video seems to work really well. Now let's check out some images I shot with it. So as you can see from these examples and the examples I showed earlier, lots of drama in the skies, definitely darkens certain parts of the picture, creates more drama, makes things punch a lot more. The CPL part was pretty obvious. I found that the Gmist part of it was really subtle and hardly noticeable. I noticed a tinge of orange. It didn't really get a lot softer, so I would say that it's pretty subtle and somewhat unnoticeable, but that's just me. Maybe you see something that I don't. Let's take this whole filter system back into my studio and let's talk about what I liked and didn't like about using it. Okay, so now that I've had the opportunity to use this CPL quarter Gmist combo from Freewell, what are my thoughts? Well, my thoughts is that it does add something to my photography. And that, of course, is what I'm trying to get out of this, right? That's what makes it valuable. I found the ability to add drama to my pictures was definitely a positive. I like the fact that if I have a subject that has kind of an oily looking complexion on their face, I can tame that with the CPL. I like the fact that maybe if I need to see in the water, the CPL will help there. In terms of the Gmist, it was kind of subtle. I'm not going to lie. It was not something that really stood out, but it doesn't really advertise itself as a strong mist filter. It's very subtle. Things are a little bit more orange, but I noticed that it didn't really soften the images that much. So in general, I would say that the mist part of it is subtle, and if you had just marketed this as a CPL filter, I may not have even noticed the mist effect. So that's something to keep in mind. But in general, I do like what it added to my pictures. Let's talk about some other things that I like about it and the machining of it, the way it looks, the aesthetics. It looks like it's part of my camera. If I didn't know what an X100 series camera came with, and you attach this to the camera, I might very well think that this was part of what Fuji sold you. It definitely looks matched as far as this nice silver finish. And I should also add that if you have the black version of this camera, they make a black version of this system. So that's definitely a positive. The quality of the metal, it matches the quality of the metal on my Fuji X100 series camera. So definitely going to give it some positives there. One of the biggest positives for this is price. I find some lens hoods out there that are $80 to $100. I find some CPLs out there that are $100, sometimes $50. So to have this be an entire combo system and have the quarter Gmist filter on top of it and have it only be about $70, price point is absolutely a pro of this system. I find that the throw on this CPL is smooth and very easy to use. In general, I'll get into one thing I found that I didn't like about it here in a minute. But I also like the fact that this comes with a nice pool table felt bottom for the lens cap. It just fits right on. It's super smooth. I don't feel like I'm going to scratch the metal. So definitely all positives there. But yes, the image quality on it was great. I do feel like it adds some net positives to my photography. Let's talk about a few negative things that I don't like about it. For one, this big Freewell logo on the end, it kind of, I don't like it. I would have much rather this had been blank because I don't want to draw any sort of attention to my camera. Well, somebody who's looking at my camera might not know what Freewell is. They may assume it's some really prestige company or whatever because it's this really big, loud logo here. If this were just blank, that would have been great. Unfortunately, this is not a sticker, so you can't just take it off and roll with a blank lens cap there. Another thing that I didn't particularly like about this is, and some of it is the fact that I am clumsy, is while this is smooth to use, sometimes when you are in a hurry, your finger will end up hitting the aperture dial instead of the CPL dial because they are in the same geographic region of the camera. So you do need to be careful about that. And then I would say the other thing that I don't like about this, the biggest con of them all, is that this lens hood moves. And I don't like that. When you tighten this down, when you get it to its tightest point, look, that is not level. That is kind of annoying. Is it a deal breaker? No. But I don't like it because now I have to straighten it out. And, you know, you could say it's a design flaw, but it was designed to be that way because in the manual, it actually tells you that, yeah, once you tighten this down, it's not going to be straight and you have to straighten it out with your hand. So then when you put this lens cap on and you go do things and you get ready to take this lens cap off, you're like, oh, let me take this lens cap off. Look, it's not straight. So I really don't like that. I don't understand why they did that with this accessory. And I certainly hope that in a version 2 of this, that they correct that because I don't know what this adds. Who does this benefit? This doesn't benefit anybody. Just make it to where when it tightens down, hold on, I gotta do it. There we go. That's another thing is once this over tightens, when I try to loosen it, sometimes the whole thing starts to unscrew. So I don't like that about this. I don't know why they did it on purpose, and the manual tells you that they did it this way. I don't know why. So I would like to see them correct that because it does not make this more fun to use. It makes it less fun to use. But overall, it is fun to use, and it is a net positive for my photography. And for that $69 price point, I do think it's an excellent value, and I do think it could help your photography and videography. That does it for today's episode. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching today. If you like what you saw, tell me about it in the comments below. Are you going to get this Freewell system? Tell me about that in the comments below. And if you like this channel, I humbly ask you to click the subscribe button below. I will leave a link in the description where you can purchase this setup. Yes, it's an affiliate link and I get a tiny little kickback from it, but it doesn't make it cost anymore. It's the same price whether I'm an affiliate or not. So I'd appreciate it if you like this. Go check that out, pick one up, and until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.